Good morning. We have a little change this morning of plans because of the incredible wind out there. It's blowing quite a storm. It's even dangerous with pieces of debris in the air. So we'll do it inside. And my plan was slightly altered because a number of people have come in to pray, some of our new pilgrims. And I want to leave them their space, but I wanted to do it inside of the boat altar chapel because of the special opportunity that presents with today's topics. You can see out here how the storm is very strong. And it would be very uncomfortable with all the wind interference as well to listen to this. So we have very tough readings today of especially the first reading in the book of Samuel, speaking about what happens in a heart that becomes crushed by passions of envy and jealousy and anger. And poor Saul, I say it like that because David would be the victim, but Saul's heart is crushed by passions, and he no longer distinguishes and sees clearly. And he wants to do what Cain did. He wants to eliminate his fellow image and likeness of the Almighty. It's a terrible temptation that strikes people throughout history, but maybe every human heart has to deal and learn with jealousy and envy, and learn to find a new way to live. Some people ask what was the meaning of the 7 demons of Mary Magdalene. And one of the readings that some people offer is the 7 passions, the 7 deadly sins that take us away from God, that disrupt us entirely, that crush us, that poison our life, that fill us with bitterness and unhappiness and frustration. And how many people are crushed by laziness or by gluttony, consumption that leads to addiction, and putting all of their trust and hope in some creature. All their treasure is in some thing. And in Saul's case, it's the challenge to his kingship. This is now being a threat for him, becoming a greater threat that David would get his power. And Saul wants to eliminate David. It's amazing, even for couples who get married and love each other very much, the relationship can degenerate to extraordinary, aggressive, mutual opposition and conflict. How to release the heart from that pressure. And there's a very good piece of news there, that friendship can be a great ally. Because alone we cannot handle these things. And there we have the friendship of David and Jonathan. And Jonathan really expresses an extraordinary interior liberty, because the jealousy over David should extend to him. He should want David out of the scene so he could be king. But he has another eye. He has the eye on the dignity of the chosen one of God, which starts off with recognizing the dignity of every human being. No matter in what circumstance, no matter, even a criminal has dignity. The newborn baby has dignity. The extraordinary dignity attributed to the unborn baby can even become an heir to property of the parents in many countries. That's enshrined in their law. The dignity of the person who is failing at the end of life. And Jonathan is this friend that is there to mediate the aggression between the king and his very generous, loyal servant. Jonathan intercedes with his father, Saul, to come to grips with truth, to ponder and reflect. David has done nothing wrong. Why would you sin against him? He has been loyal. He put his life on the line for you. Why would you attack him now? And so these big waves of passion in the heart of Saul that are washing over his heart, the passion of jealousy. He wants to hold on to the kingship. He doesn't want anybody to take it from him. And there's a huge truth that he's missing, is that the kingship isn't his, it's God's. And the Lord gives and the Lord takes away. But we become attached to creatures. We become attached to places, to pets, to people. And our heart has to be totally attached to God, not to creatures. Some people are so attached to creatures that they lose perspective of the truth of life, the truth of gift. You might be surprised we still have the Christmas decorations, but the Armenian Christians are still celebrating Christmas here in the Holy Land. And so this is a little solidarity with them. It's more important in Jerusalem, where there's the Armenian patriarchate and an Armenian population, the Armenian quarter of the old city. So when the storms blow inside our heart and we can't see clearly anymore, this is something very, very important, how to get help. To go to a friend and to seek counsel, to be a friend when you see somebody in great trouble, and to draw near, not to intrude, not to interfere, but at the same time to be an available friend so people can share their anguish. And also when we see the storms of passions ruining somebody's life, then how can we actually open our eyes and our sensitivity in order to be close and offer a bridge for that person to a safe harbor in the stormy sea of the passion? You know, a thought comes to me right now that one of the great moral teachings is not just to avoid sin, but to avoid the occasions of sin. That means to stay far away from the danger of sin. And maybe that's something, especially for parents, for children, little children, to teach them these great principles of life, these great pathways to successful growth we protect as farmers. As a farming boy, we learned to protect. I learned to protect the animals, to protect the crops, to everything that's a treasure, to protect the treasure of the soul of each person. I wonder how the other disciples reacted to Thomas when he said, I do not believe. I cannot accept that he is risen. But he came back to the community. He was present with friends. He was able to interact with a community that gave him support in the midst of the storm. And it's marvelous how Saul listened to Jonathan, his son. His battle wasn't over. Many times when the passions are deeply rooted in us, it's sometimes a lifetime of interior combat. And if we switch over to the gospel, we also see passions and the danger, the fragility of people crushing Jesus at the crowds are so big. But there are also other passions, not in today's gospel, but in others, where we see James and John looking for the first places. And then all the other 12 get so angry. And Jesus draws their attention to this. The tensions that must have existed between Matthew and Simon the Zealot. Matthew, the tax collector with the Romans, Simon, either a religious or a political zealot, to learn together, to grow together, to discover the fullness of the meaning of life. And I was fascinated this morning looking at the gospel, how the eternal word of God became so fragile, a little baby, but now as an adult he can also be crushed. David is an adult, a warrior who won a very important challenge for his people, and yet he's in danger of death. He's being hunted down. Our human condition is so fragile. Through many different causes, through illness, through virus, through accidents, and then through hatred. All the wars, all the violence that's so incredibly planned and prepared and technologically mounted for destruction. We can be crushed on the inside by our passions. We can be crushed on the outside. But then the Lord can triumph in our lives, and we have to open the door. And all of us have some passion. There are different ones. And maybe that's exactly the arena where we become a great saint. Precisely in the battle with our passions. That's the big Philistine, that's the big enemy, that's the big Pharaoh that's dominating and enslaving us. And to open our eyes to see the truth of creation, the truth of redemption, the path forward to be transformed. And one day, even if I'm an extremist, a zealot, Simon the Zealot, that there will be a halo. I will be a saint if I'm a tax collector with the Romans. That one day I will reorient my life. And these 12 men who were so fragile were the friends around Jesus, but they couldn't stop the passion. Jonathan was able to intervene for David, but the end of life, it's also death facing us. And we live with great hope and hope of salvation. So the weather kind of conditioned this moment here. And look at all the boats. That's the reflection here on this window. So God bless you. Have a blessed day today. Even if there are storms brewing in your life or blowing violently, waves of passions, go to the Lord for help. Be present in the community. Worship together.